Introduction: What shapes your life? Have you ever stopped to wonder why some lives seem effortlessly blessed, while others face hardships at every turn? What causes this invisible imbalance? And how do we make sense of it? Is it luck, coincidence, or something much deeper at play? In the Buddha's teachings, the answer is both profound and empowering. It lies in the principle of karma, the law of cause and effect that governs all actions and their outcomes. Far from a mystical or abstract concept, karma is as natural as the force of gravity, a universal law shaping not just our present but our future. But here's what makes it so remarkable: karma is not destiny, it's choice. Every thought, word, and action you take is a seed you plant in the garden of your life. The question is, what are you growing? Are your choices nurturing a future filled with happiness, peace, and fulfillment, or are they unintentionally feeding cycles of stress and suffering? This journey will take you deep into the heart of karma as taught by the Buddha, what it is, how it works, and how it holds the key to transforming your life. Along the way, we'll explore timeless stories, practical applications, and insights that will inspire you to take control of your actions and embrace the profound wisdom of this ancient law. Let's begin by asking, what seeds are you planting today? 1. The essence of karma, a force that connects all. The word karma, derived from Sanskrit, simply means action. But in the Buddha's teachings, it carries a meaning far beyond the physical realm. Karma isn't just about what you do, it's about why you do it. The intention behind every thought, word, or action creates energy that reverberates through your life, touching not only your own journey but the lives of others in ways you may never fully realize. This interconnected web of cause and effect is at the heart of karma. The Buddha captured its essence beautifully when he said, "With our thoughts, we create the world. If we act with a pure heart, happiness will follow, as surely as a shadow follows the body." Karma is not about punishment or reward from an external force. It's the natural reflection of our choices. Just as planting seeds of kindness and compassion will yield sweet fruit, actions rooted in greed, anger, or ignorance will inevitably result in suffering. The beauty of karma is that it is fair, empowering, and deeply personal. No one controls your karma but you. The power of intention. At the core of karma lies intention. What motivates your actions is more important than the action itself. Consider two people giving to charity. One gives out of genuine compassion, while the other donates for recognition or tax benefits. On the surface, the action is the same, but the energy and impact of their karma differ greatly. The Buddha emphasized the power of intention because it shapes not just the outcome of your actions but also your character. A mind motivated by love and wisdom becomes peaceful, while one driven by fear or selfishness becomes restless. This principle is reflected in the lives of many successful individuals who credit their mindful intentions for their achievements, not just their actions, but the motivations behind them. Karma in action, a modern example. Let's take the story of Oprah Winfrey, one of the most influential figures in modern America. Oprah grew up in poverty and faced incredible hardships, including abuse and discrimination. Yet, instead of letting her circumstances define her, she chose to respond with resilience, kindness, and a desire to help others. Her talk shows became platforms for compassion and truth, uplifting millions of viewers. Oprah's decision to approach her work with genuine care and a commitment to make the world a better place created a ripple effect of positive karma, not only for herself but for those whose lives she touched. Oprah has often spoken about the importance of intention. In her words, "You control your life with the power of your thoughts and the energy of your actions." Her life is a testament to the fact that aligning your intentions with goodness creates not just success, but a legacy that inspires others. A tale from Buddhist tradition. In Buddhist tradition, the story of Kisa Gotami illustrates the transformative power of karma and intention. Kisa, a young mother, was devastated when her only child passed away. She carried his body from house to house, pleading for help. Finally, she approached the Buddha. Instead of dismissing her grief, the Buddha compassionately asked her to bring him a mustard seed from a household untouched by death. As she visited each home, Kisa realized that suffering was universal and no one was exempt from loss. This realization transformed her grief into wisdom. She became one of the Buddha's disciples, dedicating her life to helping others overcome their sorrow. Kisa's story shows how our responses to life's challenges, our intentions, can shift the trajectory of our karma. Instead of being trapped by pain, she planted seeds of compassion and understanding, creating a legacy of healing. Karma's ripple effect in relationships. Karma doesn't operate in isolation, it connects us to others in profound ways. The energy we bring to our relationships directly affects their quality. When we act with kindness and empathy, we build trust and harmony. When we act out of anger or selfishness, we create tension and discord. Take the example of Fred Rogers, better known as Mr. Rogers. For decades, Fred Rogers used his television platform to teach kindness, acceptance, and understanding to children. His actions were small, gentle words, a calming presence, but they had an immeasurable impact. Mr. Rogers once said, "There are 3 ways to ultimate success. The first way is to be kind. The second way is to be kind. The third way is to be kind." Fred Rogers lived his life planting seeds of compassion, and the fruit of his karma can still be felt today in the countless lives he touched. The science of karma, what research tells us. Modern psychology and neuroscience support the principles of karma, particularly the idea that positive intentions and actions lead to better outcomes. Studies on emotional contagion show that our moods and behaviors influence those around us. A single act of kindness can create a ripple effect, inspiring others to pay it forward. For example, a study conducted by the University of California, Berkeley, found that people who practice generosity and altruism report higher levels of happiness and life satisfaction. Their actions not only benefit others, but also create a feedback loop of positivity in their own lives. This scientific validation reinforces the Buddha's teachings: when you act with good intentions, you create conditions for happiness, not just for yourself, but for the broader community. Practical applications: how to cultivate positive karma. The beauty of karma is that it empowers us to shape our lives with conscious actions. Here are practical ways to align your intentions with goodness. 1. Pause and reflect before making a decision. Ask yourself, what is my true intention? This simple practice can help you act mindfully. 2. Practice gratitude. Gratitude shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance, allowing you to act from a place of generosity. 3. Choose kindness, small acts, like offering a compliment or helping a stranger, create waves of positivity that come back to you in unexpected ways. 4. Embrace forgiveness. Holding on to anger creates heavy karma. Forgiveness frees both you and the other person from this burden. 5. Meditate. Meditation helps you cultivate awareness, ensuring your intentions are aligned with your values. A final story: karma in crisis. Consider the story of John D. Rockefeller, one of America's wealthiest men. In his early career, Rockefeller was known for his relentless pursuit of profit, often at the expense of others. But in his later years, after facing health crises and personal challenges, he began using his wealth for philanthropy. Rockefeller's donations to education, health, and science transformed countless lives and established his legacy as a philanthropist. His shift in intention, from accumulating wealth to giving back, transformed his karma and left a positive imprint on the world. The lesson: karma as empowerment. The essence of karma is empowerment. It reminds us that we are not helpless in the face of life's challenges. Every choice we make, every intention we hold, creates the conditions for our future. By aligning your actions with compassion, generosity, and mindfulness, you can create a life filled with peace and fulfillment. Remember, karma isn't a fixed destiny, it's a dynamic force, shaped by your thoughts and actions. So ask yourself, what kind of ripples are you creating today? 2. How karma operates, the 4 universal truths. Karma operates on a natural principle as predictable as the rising and setting of the sun. It is not arbitrary, nor does it play favorites. In the teachings of the Buddha, karma follows 4 universal truths that govern its operation, revealing how every thought, word, and action inevitably shapes the fabric of our lives. These truths are simple yet profound, and when understood, they provide the foundation for living with intention and awareness. Truth 1: Karma is certain, the law of cause and effect. Every action has a consequence. This is the most fundamental truth of karma. Just as planting a mango seed will eventually yield a mango tree, actions rooted in kindness, compassion, and generosity will lead to happiness. Conversely, actions born of anger, greed, or ignorance will result in suffering. The Buddha illustrated this concept through the story of Devdatta, a cousin and disciple who betrayed him. Consumed by jealousy, Devdatta attempted to harm the Buddha multiple times, including releasing a wild elephant to trample him. Despite his attempts, the Buddha remained unharmed due to his immense spiritual purity, while Devdatta faced dire consequences for his intentions and actions. Over time, the weight of Devdatta's negative karma isolated him, and he ultimately repented for his deeds. Modern example. In today's world, this principle can be seen in the life of Harvey Weinstein, a once powerful figure in Hollywood. Years of exploitation and abuse caught up with him, leading to legal consequences, professional disgrace, and the collapse of his empire. His story serves as a reminder that actions driven by selfishness and harm inevitably yield suffering, even if the results take time to manifest. Karma teaches us that our actions are not lost in the void. They create energy that comes back to us, shaping the trajectory of our lives. Truth 2: Karma grows over time, small actions, big impact. One of the most fascinating aspects of karma is how small actions can snowball into life-changing outcomes. A kind word, a generous act, or even a single compassionate thought can ripple outward, touching countless lives. In Buddhist tradition, the story of Angulimala, the feared bandit who became a monk, exemplifies this truth. Angulimala was a violent criminal, notorious for his brutality. Yet, a single meeting with the Buddha changed his life forever. The Buddha's calm and compassionate demeanor inspired Angulimala to abandon his violent ways and dedicate his life to spiritual practice. Despite his past actions, his later deeds of compassion and service transformed his karma and earned him respect as a devoted disciple. Modern example. Consider the story of Malala Yousafzai, who began as a young girl advocating for education in Pakistan. Her small act of courage, writing a blog about the right to education, led to global recognition and ultimately to her becoming the youngest ever Nobel Peace Prize laureate. Malala's story demonstrates how even the smallest positive intentions, when nurtured with resilience, can grow into transformative movements that change the world. Truth 3. Karma is inexhaustible, the seeds await their time. Karma does not expire. Like seeds waiting for the right conditions to sprout, our past actions remain dormant until the circumstances are ripe for them to manifest. This truth reminds us that every action we take matters, even if its effects are not immediately visible. A powerful Buddhist story illustrating this is that of King Ashoka, one of India's most famous rulers. Before his transformation into a devout Buddhist, Ashoka was a ruthless conqueror. However, a moment of deep reflection on the suffering caused by his actions led him to embrace Buddhism. Though his earlier deeds caused immense suffering, his later actions, promoting nonviolence, compassion, and the spread of Dharma, created an enduring legacy of peace. Modern example. This principle can also be seen in the story of Steve Jobs, co-founder of Apple. Early in his career, Jobs was known for his aggressive and often abrasive leadership style, which led to his ousting from the company he built. Yet, his exile gave him time to reflect and grow. When Jobs returned to Apple years later, he approached his work with renewed creativity and vision, creating products that revolutionized the world. His story shows that while the seeds of karma may take time to manifest, personal transformation can still create profound outcomes. Truth 4. Karma is personal, no one else can carry your load. Karma is deeply personal. Just as no one else can eat on your behalf or exercise for your health, no one else can bear the consequences of your actions. This truth empowers us to take full responsibility for our lives while also reminding us to let go of resentment, as everyone is walking their own path. The Buddha illustrated this truth in his encounter with a Brahmin who insulted him. Instead of retaliating, the Buddha calmly asked, "If someone offers you a gift and you refuse to accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" When the Brahmin admitted it would still belong to the giver, the Buddha explained, "Likewise, I do not accept your insults. They remain with you." This teaching highlights the power of owning one's karma and not being affected by others' negativity. Modern example. The life of Michelle Obama is a modern reflection of this truth. As First Lady of the United States, she faced criticism and prejudice but chose to respond with grace and determination. Her memoir, Becoming, chronicles how she stayed true to her values, focusing on education, health, and equality rather than dwelling on negativity. By taking responsibility for her actions and remaining steadfast in her intentions, Michelle Obama created a legacy that inspires millions. Practical lessons, applying karma's truths to daily life. Understanding how karma operates empowers us to make conscious choices every day. Here are ways to align your life with these truths. 1. Pause before acting when faced with a decision. Ask yourself, what is the long-term impact of this choice? 2. Focus on small steps. Remember that even the smallest act of kindness can grow into something profound. 3. Be patient. Trust that positive actions, though not always immediately visible, will bear fruit in time. 4. Take responsibility. Avoid blaming others for your circumstances. Instead, focus on what you can do to create change. A story of redemption. In Buddhist history, Ajatashatru, A king who committed grave sins, including killing his own father, sought redemption after meeting the Buddha. Through sincere repentance and dedicated practice, he began to transform his karma. Though he faced suffering due to his past actions, his efforts to cultivate positive karma created a path toward peace. This story underscores that while we cannot escape our karma, we can always work to improve it. A ripple that never ends. Karma is not a prison, it is a mirror reflecting our intentions and actions. It shows us that while we cannot change the past, we hold immense power to shape the future. Whether through a kind word, a thoughtful decision, or the courage to change, every action becomes part of a ripple that extends far beyond what we can see. The Buddha's teachings on karma invite us to live with mindfulness, compassion, and purpose. They remind us that no matter where we start, transformation is always possible. In the end, it is not about avoiding mistakes, but about learning, growing, and planting seeds that will bear the fruit of joy and liberation. So, what ripples will you create today? The answer lies in your hands. 3. Transforming karma, the power to rewrite your story. The Buddha's teachings on karma offer not just an explanation for life's patterns, but also a roadmap for change. While karma determines the circumstances we inherit from our past actions, it does not dictate our future. Each moment is a blank slate, an opportunity to create new karma and reshape our destiny. This concept is empowering because it reminds us that we are not prisoners of our mistakes or the conditions we face. Transformation is always possible through mindfulness, intentional action, and a commitment to growth. The Buddha's path to karma transformation. The Buddha emphasized 3 key practices to transform karma: right understanding, right action, and right effort. These are central elements of the Noble Eightfold Path and provide the foundation for rewriting the script of our lives. 1. Right understanding, seeing karma clearly. The first step to transforming karma is understanding its workings. This means recognizing that every thought, word, and deed creates a ripple of consequences. It also means taking ownership of our actions, letting go of blame, and embracing the power of personal responsibility. Buddhist story, the farmer and the Buddha. A farmer once approached the Buddha, complaining about the struggles in his life: poor harvests, unruly children, and endless worries. The Buddha listened patiently and then said, "I cannot help you with your 83 problems. For all human beings have 83 problems. But I can help you with the 84th problem, the desire to have no problems." This story illustrates that while we cannot escape the challenges of life, we can transform how we respond to them. By changing our mindset and seeing difficulties as opportunities to grow, we begin to shift our karma. Modern example, Viktor Frankl. Though not American, the story of Viktor Frankl resonates globally and demonstrates the power of perception. As a Holocaust survivor, Frankl lost his family and endured unimaginable suffering. Yet, he emerged from the experience with a profound realization: while we cannot control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. His book, Man's Search for Meaning, has inspired millions to find purpose in adversity, turning pain into growth, a testament to the transformative power of understanding karma. 2. Right action, choosing to plant positive seeds. Once we understand karma, the next step is to act with intention. Every action is a seed we plant in the garden of our lives. The Buddha taught that actions motivated by kindness, compassion, and generosity create positive karma, while those driven by selfishness or harm lead to suffering. Buddhist story, the story of Anathapindika. Anathapindika, one of the Buddha's most devoted lay followers, was a wealthy merchant known for his generosity. He used his wealth to support monasteries, feed the poor, and create spaces for spiritual practice. His acts of giving weren't about seeking rewards, but were rooted in genuine compassion. Even in times of financial difficulty, his commitment to kindness remained unwavering. Anathapindika's story highlights that true transformation comes from selfless actions. The karma he cultivated ensured not only his own spiritual growth but also the betterment of countless others. Modern example, Bill Gates. The story of Bill Gates mirrors Anathapindika's spirit of generosity. After amassing incredible wealth as the co-founder of Microsoft, Gates turned his focus to philanthropy through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. By addressing global challenges like disease and poverty, Gates has created positive ripples worldwide. His actions demonstrate that wealth and privilege are powerful tools for generating positive karma when paired with compassion and purpose. 3. Right effort, breaking free from negative cycles. The transformation of karma requires effort, particularly when it comes to breaking free from negative habits and cycles. It is easy to remain trapped in patterns of anger, jealousy, or greed. But the Buddha taught that with mindfulness and perseverance, we can shift these tendencies. Buddhist story, the snake and the monk. A monk once meditated near a forest where a snake frequently terrorized the local villagers. One day, the monk approached the snake and taught it about nonviolence. The snake, inspired by the monk's words, vowed never to harm anyone again. However, as time passed, the villagers began throwing stones at the snake, thinking it was harmless. The snake returned to the monk, battered and frustrated, saying, "I kept my vow, but now I am suffering." The monk replied, "I told you not to harm others, but I never told you not to defend yourself." This story reflects the effort needed to balance compassion with self-care. Breaking negative cycles doesn't mean suppressing your power, it means channeling it wisely. Modern example, Serena Williams. Serena Williams, one of the greatest athletes in history, is a powerful example of breaking negative cycles. Facing racial and gender-based discrimination throughout her career, Serena consistently responded with resilience and excellence. Her ability to rise above negativity and maintain her focus not only transformed her own life but also paved the way for countless women and athletes of color to dream bigger. The role of forgiveness in transforming karma. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful tools for karma transformation. It allows us to release the weight of anger and resentment, freeing us from cycles of negativity. Buddhist story, Angulimala's redemption. Angulimala, the bandit who terrorized villages, found redemption through forgiveness both from the Buddha and from himself. After renouncing violence, he became a monk and spent the rest of his life cultivating compassion. Though his past karma brought challenges, his transformation inspired others and showed that forgiveness, paired with action, can rewrite even the darkest chapters of our lives. Modern example, Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela's story is a modern testament to forgiveness. After 27 years of imprisonment, Mandela emerged without bitterness, choosing instead to focus on reconciliation. His decision to forgive those who oppressed him transformed South Africa and inspired the world. Mandela's life reminds us that forgiveness isn't about condoning harm, it's about freeing ourselves from its grip. Practical tools for transforming karma. Transforming karma is not a mystical process, it's deeply practical. Here are actionable steps to integrate into daily life. 1. Practice mindfulness. Spend a few minutes each day reflecting on your thoughts and actions. Are they aligned with your values? 2. Cultivate gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant, creating a mindset of positivity. 3. Offer kindness. Small acts of kindness, helping a neighbor, complimenting a colleague, or donating to a cause, generate positive karma. 4. Let go of blame. Instead of blaming others for your circumstances, focus on what you can control and improve. 5. Seek forgiveness. Apologize when you've caused harm and forgive others when they've hurt you. A final story, transformation through small steps. A woman named Maya, who had faced years of financial struggle and personal loss, began attending meditation classes to find solace. Initially, she resisted the practice, feeling too overwhelmed to sit still. But over time, Maya began incorporating small changes into her life, mindful breathing, journaling her intentions, and helping a neighbor with groceries. Months later, she noticed profound shifts. Her relationships improved, unexpected job opportunities arose, and her sense of inner peace grew. Maya's story is a reminder that transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's the cumulative effect of small, intentional steps. Conclusion: becoming the author of your karma. The Buddha's teachings remind us that karma is not a rigid destiny but a dynamic force we can shape. Every moment offers a choice to react or respond, to harm or heal, to stay stagnant or grow. By understanding karma, acting with intention, and putting in the effort to break free from negative cycles, we become the authors of our lives. Ask yourself today, what story am I writing with my actions? The answer lies not in the past, but in what you choose to do next. 4. Karma in everyday life, simple actions. Profound impact. Karma is not confined to grand gestures or monumental life events, it's woven into the fabric of our daily lives. Every choice we make, how we treat others, how we respond to challenges, and even how we think about ourselves, creates ripples that shape our future. This principle invites us to live mindfully and intentionally, understanding that even the smallest actions can have profound effects. In this section, we explore how karma operates in everyday life, with stories from Buddhist tradition and modern examples of individuals who have made significant impacts through their choices. Karma in relationships, building bridges through compassion. Our relationships, whether with family, friends, colleagues, or strangers, are a reflection of the energy we bring to them. When we act with kindness, patience, and empathy, we cultivate harmony and trust. Conversely, actions rooted in anger, selfishness, or neglect can create conflict and distance. Buddhist story, the power of forgiveness. One of the Buddha's disciples, Sariputta, was known for his wisdom and compassion. A story tells of a man who insulted Sariputta publicly, hoping to humiliate him. Instead of reacting with anger, Sariputta remained calm and responded with kindness. When asked why he didn't retaliate, Sariputta replied, "If someone gives you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong? Likewise, I do not accept his anger." This story highlights how choosing compassion over retaliation can transform relationships. By refusing to perpetuate cycles of negativity, Sariputta exemplified the power of positive karma. Modern example, Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama's life offers a modern parallel. As First Lady, she often faced criticism and prejudice but chose to respond with grace and dignity. In her memoir, Becoming, Michelle writes about focusing on her values rather than external negativity. Her emphasis on compassion, education, and empowerment created lasting positive ripples in society, inspiring millions to rise above their circumstances and act with kindness. Karma in work, creating meaning through integrity. Our professional lives are another arena where karma plays a significant role. The energy we bring to our work, whether it's honesty, collaboration, or a willingness to go the extra mile, shapes not only our careers, but also the environments we create for others. Buddhist story, The Honest Merchant. In one of the Jataka tales, the Buddha tells the story of an honest merchant who always treated his customers with fairness. One day, a wealthy customer offered him a large sum of money as thanks for his integrity, saying, "Your honesty has brought me more joy than any possession." The merchant's actions exemplified how ethical behavior creates goodwill and trust, bringing unexpected rewards. Modern example, Howard Schultz. Howard Schultz, the CEO of Starbucks, is a prime example of karma in the workplace. Schultz grew up in a poor family and witnessed the struggles of workers firsthand. As a result, he committed to creating an employee-friendly culture at Starbucks, offering benefits like healthcare and tuition assistance. Schultz's ethical approach to business not only built a global empire but also fostered loyalty among employees and customers, illustrating the long-term rewards of acting with integrity. Karma in community, small acts, big ripples. Communities thrive when individuals take responsibility for their actions and consider how they affect others. Karma teaches us that even seemingly insignificant actions, like picking up litter, volunteering, or offering a kind word, can have far-reaching impacts. Buddhist story, The Kind Monk. In a small village, a monk noticed that the villagers were hesitant to help one another. He began performing simple acts of kindness, sweeping public spaces, helping with harvests, and sharing his food. Over time, the villagers, inspired by the monk's example, began to do the same. The village transformed into a harmonious community, demonstrating how one person's actions can ignite a chain reaction of positive karma. Modern example, Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey's philanthropy is a testament to the transformative power of small, consistent actions. From building schools in Africa to launching programs that support mental health, Oprah's initiatives stem from her genuine desire to uplift others. She often emphasizes the importance of intention, saying, "The energy you create with your actions determines what comes back to you." Her life's work proves that even one person can create ripples that change countless lives. Karma and self-compassion, healing from within. While karma often emphasizes our actions toward others, it's equally important to consider how we treat ourselves. Self-compassion is a vital aspect of cultivating positive karma, as it allows us to break free from cycles of self-criticism and regret. Buddhist story, The Broken Pot. In another Jataka tale, the Buddha tells of a potter who was ashamed of his cracked pots and avoided displaying them. One day, a wise monk explained, "Even broken pots hold water. Their value lies not in their perfection but in their ability to serve." The potter learned to accept his imperfections and focus on his strengths, finding peace and pride in his work. Modern example, Brené Brown. Brené Brown, a researcher and author, has become a leading voice on the importance of vulnerability and self-compassion. Through her work, she encourages people to embrace their imperfections and view them as opportunities for growth. By practicing self-compassion, Brené shows how we can heal from negative cycles and create a foundation for positive karma in our lives. Breaking negative karma, the power of choice. We all have moments when we act out of fear, anger, or ignorance, creating karma that doesn't serve us. The Buddha taught that while we cannot undo the past, we can change the future by choosing to act differently in the present. Buddhist story, The Poisoned Arrow. The Buddha once told the parable of a man struck by a poisoned arrow. Instead of seeking immediate help, the man demanded to know who shot the arrow, what kind of wood it was made from, and why he had been targeted. By the time his questions were answered, it was too late to save him. The story illustrates that dwelling on blame and resentment only prolonged suffering. By focusing on healing and moving forward, we can break free from negative karma and create a better path. Modern example, Malala Yousafzai. Malala Yousafzai's story is a powerful example of breaking negative cycles. After surviving an attack by the Taliban, Malala chose not to dwell in anger but instead dedicated her life to advocating for education. Her courage and resilience transformed an act of violence into a global movement for change, proving that we can rewrite even the darkest chapters of our karma. Practical steps to cultivate positive karma in daily life. The beauty of karma is that it can be transformed through conscious choices. Here are practical ways to create positive karma in your everyday life. 1. Start your day with intention. Begin each morning by setting a positive intention, such as, today, I will act with kindness and patience. 2. Practice gratitude. Reflect on 3 things you're grateful for each day. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant. 3. Help someone in need, whether it's a small gesture like holding a door open or a larger act like volunteering. Every act of kindness counts. 4. Apologize and forgive when you've caused harm. Own it and apologize. Similarly, let go of resentment by forgiving others. 5. Be mindful of your thoughts. Negative thoughts often lead to negative actions. By practicing mindfulness, you can redirect your energy toward positivity. Conclusion: creating a life of purpose. Karma is not just an abstract concept, it's a guide to living with integrity, compassion, and awareness. Each choice we make, no matter how small, shapes the world around us. By bringing mindfulness to our daily actions, we can create a ripple effect of positivity that extends far beyond what we can see. The stories of Sariputta, Anathapindika, Michelle Obama, and Oprah Winfrey remind us that even in the face of challenges, we have the power to choose kindness, forgiveness, and purpose. Karma invites us to reflect on the legacy we want to leave behind and inspires us to act in ways that uplift ourselves and others. So, what kind of ripples will you create today? The answer lies in the choices you make, moment by moment. 5. The role of mindfulness in karma, cultivating awareness for transformation. Mindfulness, the practice of being fully present in the moment, is a cornerstone of transforming karma. It allows us to observe the intentions behind our actions, break free from harmful cycles, and consciously create positive ripples in our lives. As the Buddha taught, what we think, we become. By cultivating mindfulness, we take control of our thoughts, actions, and the karma they produce. This section explores how mindfulness empowers us to transform our karma. Interwoven with Buddhist stories and inspiring examples of mindfulness in action from notable figures in the United States. Mindfulness as a tool for understanding karma. Mindfulness, or sati in Pali, is the ability to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment. It creates a mental space between stimulus and response, enabling us to act with intention rather than react impulsively. This awareness is crucial in understanding how our actions shape our karma. Buddhist story, The Angry Monk. One day, a young monk approached the Buddha, frustrated by the behavior of another monk. He said, "I can't stand him. He makes me so angry." The Buddha replied, "If someone gives you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" The monk realized that, by reacting with anger, he was accepting the negativity and creating more suffering for himself. This story illustrates the role of mindfulness in karma. By observing our emotions rather than being controlled by them, we can choose responses that align with our values and reduce the karma of suffering. Modern example, Jon Kabat-Zinn. Jon Kabat-Zinn, the founder of mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR, has popularized mindfulness practices in the United States. His work demonstrates how mindfulness can transform stress and negativity into clarity and calm. Kabat-Zinn often emphasizes that mindfulness isn't about eliminating challenges, but about changing our relationship with them. By practicing mindfulness, we can navigate life's difficulties with grace, creating positive karma for ourselves and others. Breaking negative cycles with mindfulness. One of the greatest benefits of mindfulness is its ability to break negative patterns. When we are unaware, we often repeat actions driven by fear, anger, or greed, perpetuating cycles of suffering. Mindfulness helps us identify these habits and choose differently. Buddhist story, The Poisoned Arrow. The Buddha told the story of a man struck by a poisoned arrow. Instead of seeking immediate help, the man demanded to know who shot the arrow, what kind of wood it was made from, and why he had been targeted. By the time his questions were answered, it was too late to save him. This parable highlights how overthinking and holding on to blame can prevent us from taking action to heal. Mindfulness teaches us to focus on the present moment, letting go of unnecessary mental chatter to address what truly matters. Modern example, Thich Nhat Hanh's legacy. Although originally from Vietnam, Thich Nhat Hanh's influence is deeply felt in the United States, where his teachings on mindfulness have inspired millions. He often spoke about the importance of watering positive seeds in our consciousness, encouraging individuals to focus on nurturing love, kindness, and joy. His work demonstrates how mindfulness can interrupt cycles of negativity and create a foundation for positive karma. Mindful speech, the karma of words. Our words have immense power. They can heal or harm, uplift or discourage. Mindful speech, one of the steps on the Noble Eightfold Path, is essential for creating positive karma in our relationships and communities. Buddhist story, The Gossiping Woman. In a village, a woman spread false rumors about a neighbor. Later, feeling remorseful, she asked the Buddha how to make amends. The Buddha instructed her to pluck a feather from a bird for every person she had gossiped to and scatter them in the wind. When she returned, he told her to collect the feathers, which had blown far away. She realized it was impossible. The Buddha explained, "Words, once spoken, cannot be undone. They travel far and leave lasting effects." This story reminds us that mindfulness in speech is crucial for creating positive karma and avoiding harm. Modern example, Brené Brown. Brené Brown, a renowned researcher and author, often speaks about the importance of vulnerability and authenticity in communication. Her work encourages mindful conversations, emphasizing that choosing our words with care fosters deeper connections and mutual understanding. Through her teaching, she demonstrates how mindful speech creates positive ripple effects in both personal and professional relationships. Mindfulness and self-karma, healing from within. Karma is not just about our interactions with others, it's also about how we treat ourselves. Many of us carry guilt, shame, or negative self-talk that creates heavy emotional burdens. Mindfulness allows us to observe these patterns and cultivate self-compassion. Buddhist story, The Pot with Cracks. In one Jataka tale, a water carrier used 2 pots to fetch water every day. One pot was perfect, while the other had cracks and leaked along the way. The cracked pot felt ashamed of its imperfections until the water carrier said, "Your cracks water the flowers along the path, making them bloom beautifully. Without you, the path would be barren." This story illustrates that our perceived flaws can be sources of strength and beauty. Mindfulness helps us embrace our imperfections, creating positive karma by fostering self-acceptance. Modern example, Kristen Bell. Kristen Bell, a beloved actress and mental health advocate, often shares her struggles with anxiety and depression. By openly discussing her journey, she encourages others to approach their challenges with mindfulness and self-compassion. Her message, that imperfection is not failure but humanity, reflects the Buddhist teaching of embracing one's whole self to create peace and positivity. Practicing mindfulness to transform karma. Integrating mindfulness into daily life doesn't require drastic changes. Small, consistent practices can have profound effects. Here are practical ways to use mindfulness to transform your karma. 1. Mindful breathing. Take a few moments each day to focus on your breath. This simple practice grounds you in the present moment and cultivates awareness. 2. Pause before reacting when faced with a challenging situation. Pause and ask yourself, what is the most skillful way to respond? 3. Mindful journaling. Reflect on your thoughts and actions at the end of each day. What intentions guided your choices? What could you do differently tomorrow? 4. Gratitude practice. Begin or end your day by listing 3 things you're grateful for. Gratitude shifts your perspective and creates positive energy. 5. Loving kindness meditation. Spend time visualizing yourself and others surrounded by warmth and compassion. This practice generates positive karma and fosters connection. A final story, the ripple effect of mindfulness. In the Buddha's time, there lived a king named Pasenadi, who was prone to anger and impulsive decisions. After meeting the Buddha, Pasenadi began practicing mindfulness, often consulting the Buddha before making critical choices. Over time, he became a more compassionate and just ruler, transforming the lives of his subjects. Pasenadi's story demonstrates that mindfulness doesn't just change the individual, it creates ripples that benefit entire communities. Modern parallel, LeBron James. LeBron James, one of the greatest basketball players in history, attributes much of his success to mindfulness practices. From deep breathing exercises to focusing on mental clarity, LeBron emphasizes that mindfulness helps him make better decisions on and off the court. His ability to remain composed under pressure has inspired teammates, fans, and young athletes worldwide, illustrating the far-reaching impact of mindful living. Conclusion: living with awareness. Mindfulness is the key to transforming karma. By cultivating awareness of our thoughts, actions, and intentions, we gain the power to shape our lives in alignment with our deepest values. The stories of the angry monk, Kristen Bell, and LeBron James remind us that mindfulness isn't about perfection, it's about presence. Each moment offers a choice to act with mindfulness or react with habit. By choosing the former, we create a life of purpose, compassion, and positive karma. What small, mindful step will you take today to transform your karma? The answer lies in the present moment, waiting for you to begin. 6. Beyond karma, the path to liberation. While karma offers profound insights into the mechanics of cause and effect, The ultimate goal of the Buddha's teachings is liberation, freedom from the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, samsara. Karma may shape the conditions of our lives, but understanding and transcending it allows us to go beyond mere reaction and create lasting peace and freedom. In this section, we'll explore how karma fits into the larger spiritual journey, using stories from Buddhist tradition and the lives of inspiring figures in the modern world to illuminate the path to liberation. Karma as a teacher, not a punishment. The Buddha described karma not as a system of judgment, but as a natural law meant to teach us. Every experience, whether pleasant or painful, offers an opportunity to grow in wisdom and compassion. When we stop resisting our experiences and begin to see them as lessons, karma becomes a guide on the path to liberation. Buddhist story, The Monk and the Thief. A thief once broke into a monk's hut, expecting to find valuables. But the monk, living a life of simplicity, had nothing to steal. Seeing the thief's disappointment, the monk offered him his robe, saying, "Take this. It is all I have." The thief, moved by the monk's generosity, returned later to seek his teachings. This story illustrates that even difficult encounters can be opportunities for transformation. The monk's response wasn't about accumulating good karma, it was an act of letting go, showing that true freedom comes from rising above attachment and fear. Modern example, Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou, a celebrated American poet and activist, often spoke about using life's challenges as a source of strength. Despite facing racism, abuse, and hardship, she transformed her experiences into art and advocacy, inspiring millions. Angelou famously said, "You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them." Her life exemplifies the principle of using karma as a teacher rather than a burden. The role of wisdom in transcending karma. Wisdom, or prajna, is a crucial component of liberation. While mindfulness helps us understand our actions, wisdom allows us to see the impermanence of all things, freeing us from the attachment that fuels karma. Buddhist story, The Parable of the Raft. The Buddha once told the story of a man who built a raft to cross a river. Once on the other side, the man considered carrying the raft with him on his journey. The Buddha explained that just as the raft served its purpose, clinging to it would only weigh the man down. This parable teaches us that even good karma, like the raft, should not be clung to. Liberation comes from letting go of both the negative and the positive, seeing them as transient tools rather than ultimate truths. Modern example, Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, co-founder of Apple, embraced the idea of impermanence, famously saying, "Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose." Jobs used this perspective to focus on innovation and creativity, understanding that attachment to material success would only limit him. His life shows how wisdom allows us to transcend attachment and live authentically. Compassion as the heart of liberation. While wisdom helps us see beyond attachment, compassion binds us to the well-being of all beings. The Buddha taught that true liberation is not selfish, it arises from a deep connection to others and a desire to alleviate their suffering. Buddhist story, The Bodhisattva's Vow. The Bodhisattva, an enlightened being who chooses to remain in samsara to help others, embodies the ultimate act of compassion. Instead of seeking personal freedom, the Bodhisattva vows to delay liberation until all beings are free from suffering. This selfless commitment reflects the highest form of karma, one driven entirely by love and empathy. Modern example, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, a trailblazing Supreme Court justice, dedicated her life to fighting for justice and equality. Her work wasn't just about personal achievement, it was about creating a better world for future generations. Ginsburg's legacy reflects the Bodhisattva ideal, using one's wisdom and compassion to serve others selflessly. Breaking free, the role of meditation in liberation. Meditation, or dhyana, is the practice of quieting the mind to see reality as it truly is. It's through meditation that we can observe the patterns of karma, recognize their impermanence, and ultimately transcend them. Buddhist story, the Buddha's enlightenment. The Buddha's journey to enlightenment is the ultimate story of transcending karma. After years of seeking external solutions, the Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree and turned inward. Through deep meditation, he saw the interconnectedness of all things and the root of suffering, attachment. This realization freed him from samsara, showing that liberation is found not in external actions but in inner understanding. Modern example, Deepak Chopra. Deepak Chopra, a renowned spiritual teacher, has introduced millions to the transformative power of meditation. Chopra often speaks about using meditation to transcend the ego and connect with higher states of consciousness. His teachings align with the Buddha's insight that true freedom comes from within. Practical steps toward liberation. The path to liberation may seem distant, but it begins with small, intentional steps. Here's how you can integrate the principles of liberation into your daily life. 1. Practice non-attachment. Reflect on what you're clinging to, whether it's success, relationships, or material possessions. Practice letting go, even if only for a moment. 2. Cultivate compassion. Perform one selfless act each day, whether it's helping a stranger or listening to a friend. 3. Meditate regularly. Dedicate time each day to meditation, even if it's just 5 minutes. Use this time to observe your thoughts without judgment. 4. Embrace impermanence. Remind yourself that all things, both joys and challenges, are temporary. This perspective helps reduce suffering. 5. Seek wisdom. Read, reflect, and engage with teachings that expand your understanding of life's deeper truths. A final story, Karma and the Open Hand. In his later years, the Buddha told a story of a man who clung tightly to a bag of gold, fearing it would be stolen. The tighter he held it, the more anxious and isolated he became. One day, he realized that the gold had become a burden rather than a blessing. When he finally opened his hand and gave it away, he felt a profound sense of freedom. This story reminds us that liberation doesn't come from accumulating or controlling but from letting go. By releasing attachment, we free ourselves from the cycle of karma and step into a life of peace and clarity. Modern parallel, Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest individuals in the world, has pledged to give away the majority of his fortune. His philosophy reflects the wisdom of the open hand, recognizing that true wealth lies not in holding but in sharing. Buffett's actions show that liberation isn't about renunciation but about aligning our resources with our values. Conclusion: Karma as a bridge to freedom. Karma teaches us how our actions shape our lives, but liberation takes us a step further, inviting us to transcend the cycle of cause and effect. Through mindfulness, wisdom, and compassion, we can move beyond reaction and into true freedom. The stories of the Buddha. Maya Angelou, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and others remind us that liberation isn't reserved for the few, it's a path open to all who seek it. By integrating these principles into our lives, we can create not only better karma but also a legacy of love, peace, and purpose. What steps will you take today to walk the path of liberation? the journey begins with a single, mindful choice. Conclusion: a journey toward a better world. As we come to the end of this exploration of karma and its profound impact on our lives, let us pause and reflect on the timeless wisdom that has been shared. Karma is not just a concept, it is a way of life. A lens through which we can view the interconnectedness of our actions and the ripple effects they create. Through mindfulness, wisdom, and compassion, each of us holds the power to rewrite the story of our lives, shaping not only our own destiny but also the future of the world around us. The call to live intentionally. Life is a series of choices, each one an opportunity to plant seeds of kindness, understanding, and positivity. Karma reminds us that these choices matter not only to ourselves but to everyone we touch, directly or indirectly. Imagine a world where every action, big or small, is guided by the intention to bring peace and joy. How different would that world look? A small ripple becomes a wave. There's a story in Buddhist tradition about a woman who lit a single lamp at a temple, praying for the well-being of others. Her light inspired others to light their own lamps, and soon the temple glowed with brilliance. This story teaches us that even the smallest gesture can ignite a chain reaction, creating light in the darkest places. Similarly, each of us can be a source of light in our communities. It doesn't require extraordinary wealth, talent, or power, just a commitment to acting with love and integrity. Whether it's offering a kind word to a stranger, supporting a friend in need, or simply listening with an open heart, these small acts carry immeasurable power. The interconnectedness of our actions. One of the most beautiful aspects of karma is its reminder that we are all deeply connected. Our actions, no matter how isolated they may seem, contribute to the collective energy of humanity. When we act with compassion, we uplift not only ourselves but also the people and communities around us. Modern example: Greta Thunberg. Take Greta Thunberg, a young climate activist whose simple decision to strike for climate action inspired millions across the globe. Her actions show how one person's dedication and passion can awaken collective responsibility. Greta's journey reminds us that our actions, rooted in intention and purpose, can spark movements that transcend borders and generations. Gratitude for the path we share. As you've followed this journey through the teachings of karma, you've embraced not only ancient wisdom but also stories of transformation from modern lives. By staying engaged, you've demonstrated a willingness to reflect and grow, a testament to your own mindfulness and commitment to living intentionally. Thanking the community. In Buddhist tradition, gratitude is considered a profound practice that nurtures joy and contentment. The Buddha taught that expressing gratitude strengthens our connection to others and reinforces the bonds of compassion. As we conclude, I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to you for dedicating your time and attention to this exploration. Your presence here is a ripple in the ocean of positive energy that our shared understanding creates. Thank you for choosing to reflect on these teachings and for considering how they might shape your own journey. A vision for the future, living with purpose. Imagine a future where more people embrace the principles of karma, living with mindfulness, compassion, and intention. What would that world look like? Communities would be filled with empathy, where neighbors help one another without expecting anything in return. Workplaces would prioritize fairness and respect, fostering environments where everyone can thrive. Families would resolve conflicts with understanding and forgiveness, building relationships rooted in love. This vision is not an unattainable dream, it is a possibility that begins with each of us. When we choose to align our actions with our highest values, we become the architects of a better world. A personal commitment. As we part ways, I invite you to make a commitment to yourself and to the world. It doesn't have to be grand or overwhelming. Start with one intention, a single act of kindness, a moment of mindfulness, or a word of encouragement. Let that intention guide you, and trust that its ripple effects will extend further than you can imagine. Buddhist wisdom to carry forward. The Buddha once said, "Thousands of candles can be lit from a single candle, and the life of the candle will not be shortened." Happiness never decreases by being shared. Let us be that candle, illuminating the lives of others while strengthening our own inner light. Final reflection, the legacy of your actions. As you close this chapter and step back into the flow of daily life, remember the power you hold. Every thought, word, and action is a brushstroke on the canvas of your existence. What picture are you painting? This journey through karma has been a reminder that life is not about perfection, it's about progress. It's about showing up, learning from your experiences, and striving to be a little better each day. And in doing so, you create a legacy of love, wisdom, and compassion that will outlast your time on this earth. A note of thanks. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of karma. Your willingness to delve into these teachings and stories, to reflect on their meaning, and to consider their relevance to your life is a gift, not just to yourself but to the world. Together, we've journeyed through the profound and practical, the ancient and the modern, weaving together lessons that can guide us all toward greater peace and purpose. Let us carry these lessons forward, not as burdens but as beacons, lighting the way for ourselves and others. The journey doesn't end here, it begins anew with every moment, every choice, and every intention. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you for your presence, your openness, and your commitment to living a life of meaning and mindfulness. May your journey be filled with joy, love, and boundless possibilities.